Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lord Huffington once again back with another discussion. And I guess today we'll be talking about why the MMFF failed. For those of you who don't know, the MMFF, it stands for Metro Manila Film Festival. Festival is a event that's I think it's held once a year to commemorate and celebrate the Philippine film industry, which, if some of you already know, is a total failure. And uh, bear in mind, this podcast is inspired by the report of the week or the voice of the report of the week. So some similarities may occur. Uh, One thing that really factored why a lot of people really hated the recent Metro Manila Film Festival is just how it was terribly timed. Uh, some of you don't know. Uh, it At the time that the event was scheduled, it was supposed to be the screening time for Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man No Way Home series, which was, of course, highly anticipated by not just a lot, but almost everyone that's a fan of the Marvel franchise. And so, because of it, the the supposed screening of the movie was postponed by I think it was a week or two because they wanted to prioritize the filming of uh no, not really the filming, but the the display or the showing of the movies that had an entry in the film festival. That was just one. The second is actually the movies themselves. Although I myself haven't really watched the movies, I think the appeal of the general public and how their reactions to it, I guess, are more than enough for me to make an opinion about it. It it, it just received a lot of hate, and I I think I was able to watch that one trailer for the comedy movie by the Gonzaga sisters, as I like to call them. I watched one. It was the promotional commercial in the TV, which was inevitably gonna be viewed by me anyway, since it was paid for to be there. It was just terrible. It was supposedly, I think, based from the trailer that I watched in the commercial. It was supposedly a bit horror, but comedy with a little bit of horror mixed, and it wasn't really funny. I saw this picture of it, promotional photo of it once on Facebook, and it it has a caption that everyone that translates in English when you translate in English means everyone is laughing, and then it shows a photo of the supposed theater, and it was a mix it was a mixed people in there. Some were sleeping, were some were clearly bored, and some were just outright moodless in the entirety, or doing something else in the entirety of the movie, which highly contradicts the everyone is laughing, uh, the everyone is laughing line that the promotional image talks about. It I mean, I guess I would, or I probably won't watch any of the movies because given the time, I don't really have any. This was literally being recorded at night, which is the only time I'm available to do this, but I don't really want to waste my time. One more thing about the MMFF, not just the entire movies itself, but the, also the timing, the terrible promotional content that clearly contradict the the essence or the goal of the promotional images and videos is, I guess, the directors themselves. It was at the end of the event where I saw this on Facebook since I'm not really I it was shared by one of my Facebook friends since I'm not really one to spend a lot of time on Facebook since uh I'm a bit of a busy man myself. Not that I'm bragging about it. And uh I quote from one of the directors. This is the quote from I don't remember what who she was, what she was a girl for sure. She said that uh I'm gonna say this in Tagalog because I can't really translate it like on the spot. It says tangkilikin naman natin yung sariling atin, which is a really terrible statement to make, especially when the films that you're making are just outright terrible. Everyone is cringing about it, and a lot of majority of the response of the audience to the Metro Manila Film Festival are just hate, outmost hate, which is very understandable considering the circumstances and the terrible timing and everything that I said earlier. It really, why is it a terrible statement? I guess is how if you compare it closely to the much more mainstream international media like Netflix. I guess one more thing that I said, one more reason that I was able to say that I guess not just the movies in the Metro Manila Film Festival, but for the entirety of the Filipino film industry itself is just falling down. I think one is the availability of more international and better quality streaming platforms like Netflix, and I mean YouTube has been around here for years, not but Netflix is a big boom, like especially with the rise of series like All of Us Are Dead, and I think at the time I don't really remember, but hit series at the time were 13, I think it was. No, that was a long time ago. But yes, the good quality, I can't say that it's like really good quality because, like the original movies from the MMFF movie lineup, I haven't really watched. I guess aside the anime Kengan Ashura, I haven't even finished it yet. I don't really think I will, but it the good quality of not just the movies but the series found in Netflix and other streaming platforms online just sets up a higher standard for not for the Filipinos, which is unfortunately not to be. I don't think they plan on keeping up with that expectation and standard. One more thing. Uh, uh, One more thing about it is about that sentence that I said earlier. It's the downfall of not just the Philippine film industry and maybe the soap operas as well, will be disappointing but expected. Mm, and for me, that statement, uh, the tangkilikin natin ang sariling atin, I think it was a bit of, for me, it has a bit of a guilt tripping vibe in it. and I don't really like that. I mean, who likes being guilt tripped? And I'm not sure if it counts, but I think it would count as manipulation, and I'm not really I will never or not even think about uh not just in any movie but any kind of consumable content. I will never consume anything that when so I'm not gonna consume something so terrible, especially when the creators don't look like they plan on improving their content quality, but also relies on uh, guilt tripping their target audience instead of catching up with their heightened standards, doing their best. It's just terrible. However, I think just as there is a candle in the dark, I like to believe that there is still hope for the film industry that's just somewhere, and like diamonds will definitely be needed to dig up on different platforms. I guess YouTube, but hopefully there is, and if there is, I would most definitely be willing to take a look on these said films or just short film and in any way. And I guess that aside, let's talk about something that's much more important, which is what is the best beverage to exist. I personally, I'm one that enjoys both milk and tea. I'm a tea guy. Yes, I won't really call myself a tea bagger because if you're a gamer, well, that's a terrible term to give to yourself. But I like tea. I haven't really tasted a lot of tea flavors. I know there are a lot, depends on the culture, country, and just general availability of resources. There are a lot of tea flavors out there. But I have tried milk. I did. I once also drank coffee, but I stopped because of palpitations. And if you rely on your hands to make lines and draw, you would not really want that. And sorry, you would not really want your hands to be trembling around while you do something that requires focus and steadiness. I guess for me, in my personal opinion, I really prefer just tea. Tea is, well, everything. Tea is life, what and what not. Uh, what else? I guess since we're already on the topic of Philippine media, let's talk. For I guess we should also talk about the soap operas that are currently airing, which are also, for me, are a bit terrible in their own small ways. Like for example, I forgot. Like someone remind me from the BC that the one with the that cast Joe Berry from Oh Nanay. I don't really remember the title. I never really watched it, but I think it's pretty unrealistic. And uh, again, sorry about that. It's pretty unrealistic, and not to mention, her shortness is does not really have anything significant to the story. Like, for example, in the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or I don't know how you pronounce that, but that's how I do it. In the Hunchback of Notre Dame, if I remember it right, after he was adopted by the bishop, he was adopted by the bishop, he was kept on a bell tower to keep on ringing on a clock tower to keep on ringing the bell, and that had a lot of impact in his later love life. And then the same thing applies to Igor because of his, well, hunchbackness. He was kept as a slave or an apprentice of the evil scientist. that I guess is the antagonist of the story. And in terms of the series that I'm talking about, her shortness doesn't really have anything significant in the story. I mean, I think she was bullied in the before the events of the story, but in the future or in the present of the story, I think it doesn't really hold any significance. I mean, in her own Nanai series, it was really good. Her abilities as a mother were just tested and questioned at because, well, she's short. I think it's because of her dwarfism. Not really sure, but yes. One another show is the sequel of the first series that changed its title. I forgot. I just watched it earlier and I already forgot. Yeah, First Lady. In the first edition of the series, it was named First Yaya, but now it's First Lady because of the story. But I think the idea of like the three former first ladies are just as the same as the first one, not just uh unrelatable but also unrealistic. I mean, if you look now, I don't think the the past the past first ladies don't really hold any relevance anymore. Whereas in the show, it it really showed that they somehow were respected during their times, which in today doesn't really apply. That doesn't really apply to today. I mean, the former first ladies and I guess first men. I haven't even decided on what to do in my future. I mean, I have, but who am I to judge? Which I already did. Hmm. What else? Comedy. Yeah. Next in line is comedy. The Howd still good, and it didn't really had it. I mean, they did have problems before they switched to the second part, but it's still good, still good. Uh, they're just like guesting multiple female celebrities, and I don't think there's really any point because it's if you watch like more than one or two episodes, it's pretty predictable that they just end up breaking up, which is not good if you're trying to get your audience to look forward to the next episode, which is the ultimate goal when you're making a series. That's why cliffhangers are a thing. So yeah, I guess the least they can do about it is make each interaction with each girl unique and special, and maybe tweak some behavior, which is well obvious enough they did. But yes, I guess that's what I think would improve the series. The second, I guess one more thing that we can talk about here is the hmm, I'm not really sure. I already like ran out of topics, so I guess yeah, I guess that would. This is a bit short compared to the first one because we had a lot of people talking and I'm just alone here, so I guess that was pretty expected. And I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any kind of feedback, will of course be accepted, and I will try to entertain any kind of question you have in mind. So, thank again. If you stayed this long, I guess that's good because it worked. I mean, if you're still here, I guess that's a good thing because I was able to get your attention more than or triple the regular attention span of the human. So I guess that wraps up for this episode of the podcast, and I'll see you guys maybe next week. Any feedback is acceptable, and I will try to read them as much as I can. And goodbye, and thank you.